What's going on? Richard Hawthorne here. I have one of my clients, Craig Douglas, that I've been training with and training for the past 3 years.
3 years now, almost 3 years.
3 years. So what I wanted to do is talk to him a little bit about what we have been doing, his progresses, what he was looking for coming to me, and his whole outlook about the whole program that we've been doing. Real quick, can you actually, tell them what you actually do?
Okay, sure. So my name is Craig Douglas. I am Richard's client, as he introduced me. I teach pistol work, defensive pistol craft, some jiu-jitsu based concepts. I teach some other weapons work, and I have a company called Shivworks, Shivworks, and I teach this stuff in an open enrollment and closed enrollment format for military, law enforcement, and government entities. I do this full-time now, retired out of law enforcement in 2011, so it's 5 years I've been doing this full-time. I've been teaching a total of 13 years in the private sector, and I teach in 40 states in the U.S. and 11 countries outside of the U.S. I teach 3 branches of the U.S. military, and I have four federal agencies also that I do training for.
So, from the beginning, when you first came to me, what was you actually looking for?
So I came to you in, it was, I believe, January of 2013, I believe. January 2013. And I found you through another friend of mine who did fitness competitions. And she put me onto you, and what she said was, you seem like a pretty serious guy, you need to go, try and find Richard Hawthorne. So I was intrigued, so I did, and when I came to you, I think I called, set up an appointment, and the very first thing you asked me was, what are you looking to accomplish? And I told you, not get hurt, get stronger, and possibly get a little bigger. So I told you that mid-40s at the time. I think I was 44, and I'm 48 now. So yeah, 44, 45. And I had a lot of injuries from years of combat sports and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and things like that. And what I noticed was, as I was aging, because I wasn't doing strength and conditioning, I was just getting hurt a lot more, And I wanted to try and get more resiliency and durability out of strength training, and hopefully that would give me some longevity in combat sports, in grappling and things like that. So we started off with a very simple program, learning the lifts, and you progressively moved me up through there, and I'm still here today. I think I'm probably at this point, probably your longest, most consistent client as far as in person.
Yeah.
Something like that,
Yeah, one of the two. So that is awesome, and I was excited when you did come to me, because I knew, older guys and females mostly have a lack of ego and willing to learn. So I was pretty excited for that. As we were going, what was your thoughts from the beginning, when we first started? Within the first month, what was your thoughts?
So the very first month, and even now to this day, my idea behind doing this, having no background in strength training, or I've been relatively athletic my whole life, but no formal background in strength training. The first thing I wanted to do was really just listen and start slow and try and pick up every single detail and do it right. I was very interested in your teaching progression also, because obviously I teach for a living. I can tell the audience what I do later on if that's relevant. But I teach for a living, so I was very, I wanted to see how you program me, how you install these motor skills, because they are motor skills. And we worked on the basic 3 lifts and nothing else for that first year. You know, we had, I think the first program we started off was an 8-week cycle, and that was 6 sets of 10. I think we had 2 weeks at 4 sets of 8, 2 weeks at 3 sets of 6, and then 2 weeks at 3 sets of 3. That was the first program, and man, that was hard. God, that was really hard. I know, you know, just I was struggling to get the lifts right still, and I wanted to stay consistent. And I knew what you were doing. You were giving me a lot of repetition with very few things to do. It wasn't like I was having to learn a whole bunch of different crazy motor skills. Just one thing, squat right. Just one thing, deadlift right. But the nuances of the lifts were incredibly detailed. A minor alteration between, you know, midfoot and forefoot was just really the difference between success and failure. So I appreciated the hyper detailed, and still do, the hyper detailed points of how to do these lifts correctly. The first, I think it took me probably, with no background, probably 4 months to feel a deadlift the way you wanted me to feel it, you know, which you interpret a deadlift as more of a push than a pull. And from what I understand, not having any other coaches or background in strength training, that's somewhat controversial in the strength training community. So, you know, I don't really care. I'm not interested in, you know, what other people think. I know this works for me. It may not work for other people, but I know this works for me. But nonetheless, not being a stranger to complex motor skills, obviously, because Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling and wrestling and things like that, those are things that are pretty complex motor skills. I'm pretty, I can pick out good body mechanics, and even then, man, I had to work really hard to get these lifts right. And I think at this point, almost 3 years later, now I think I probably do them more right than wrong, but I still screwed up. You know, I still have off, and still, you know, something's up. So that very first part with us, I think, was just me intently listening, hanging on to every word that you said, trying to do it right, and struggling with, man, just being sore. You know, because I wasn't used to that. Just struggling with it. My body was not acclimated or attenuated to that. I think at one point my hips got so sore that it was hard to even cinch a belt down. I mean, it was literally tender to the touch. So when we had to, you know, back it down a little bit.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
You actually went had our massage therapist.
Yep, Jackie. You know, I had to limp in there and work on my hip.
That's awesome. But and you're exactly right. As far as that, I do believe in learning it as a craft, and you did that very well, and you was very intuitive to what I was saying, which I really appreciated, and,
Sure.
and it allowed me to grow even more.
Yeah.
Because we both learned even more as we went.
Absolutely.
So as far as say you said you wanted to come in and be injury free. What kind of injuries, or what did you have that you wanted to kind of stay away from, or it kind of scared you coming in?
So when I was a soldier in the Army 30 years ago, I crushed my ankle. So that was pretty much pulped up pretty badly. I don't have any wire or pins in there. I probably should, but at the time they just kind of pieced it back together and smushed it together. So there you go. I have no disc at C4, C5. That was completely ruptured. I have I've broken 14 bones in my life. This shoulder was reconstructed in 2005, rotator cuff and bicep tendon. This shoulder was done in 2007, rotator cuff and bicep tendon. So, you know, I think probably the shoulders were the big thing with me that I was concerned about blowing out. Even though I had a good doctor that, you know, specializes in shoulders, still in all, that was that was something I was concerned about. My ankle flexibility, I was a little concerned with. But those were the big ones. Those were the big ones.
Awesome. One thing that I did notice, and I just want to touch on this real quick, is that you had at the very beginning, you had this fear or this complex about having weight.
Yeah.
on your back.
So I'll tell that story. So I was getting hurt a lot, and I realized I just need to get stronger. I need to get more. I needed to use, pack on maybe some size, bigger than I was. I think when I came to you, I was about 155, 160. I'm 180 now. Most of that's muscle. But still, I started doing some stuff on my own. I think kind of like everybody does. Here's the kind, and you know this as a coach. The common progress is somebody will watch a video or read a book and try and go in and self-teach, And most of the time, they're not doing it correctly. And I was in that camp. So I was squatting in particular. I was terrified of. I was absolutely terrified. So what I would do is, because I knew deep down, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I could hurt myself. So I used to squat on a Smith machine. And I think the most I ever got on a Smith machine squatting, and they weren't real squats, because I didn't know what to do or how to generate power, where the bar should be. But I think the most I got was 185 on a Smith machine. So the first time you put some weight on my back, were trying to coach me through the technique. Man, it was scary. It was. I'm not gonna lie. It was. I could feel. It's not like jumping out of an airplane scary.
Yeah,
It was. There was a very tangible, palpable fear of I could get hurt. I could really injure myself doing this. So it was one of those points where I think your coaching method of just training the motion. Don't worry about the weight at the very beginning. Getting a lot of reps. That really helped out a lot. And the techniques that you teach, to kind of keep the weight off your body and how you generate power, and how you control energy, stretching away through the floor and up. That it was a long process too. I think I remember the first time I squatted 2 plates. I was ecstatic. I was like, holy shit, I've come a long way, man, from being terrified of 185 and doing a single to, jumping up and doing a triple with 225, and I think now, I'm doing, 10 reps with 225 with that, or actually 235, because I've got a 50-pound bar. 10 reps now that's part of the warm-up usually, so it's very cool, very cool. But it was scary to me, and, there's not a whole lot of things I fear, but that, having the weight on you, that's intimidating.
And I could see, at that time I remember I could see the undoing. You fighting with yourself, squatting.
Well, I know here's what's funny too, I know what to do, because you told me what to do, and if I do what you tell me, I'll be okay. But emotionally, the pressure and trying to put it all together with that little lurking thing in your mind, if I fuck this up, I'm broken in half. That was, you're always struggling with that. And I think it takes here's one thing, we talked about this too. I just think it takes time. And there's no substitute for longevity and tenure in anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's this or any other thing. And we've talked about this too, how people get into, well, I'm going to do this 8-week program. I'm going to do this 6-week program. I'm going to do this 12-week transformation. I don't think you know what you're doing in any given method or system until you've been doing it for a year. That's just my opinion at this point.
Yep.
Just my opinion. We did 3 lifts with no accessory work as a beginner. We didn't change the programming for a year. It's pretty cool. And we're still, we add some accessory lifts here and there, but we're still fundamentally doing the same thing.
Yep.